All right, next item on the list. There's a voice actor strike looming on the horizon, unless I've missed something else about this. This is an article over on Game Informer. Did we drop again?
No, I'm just making. I'm being dramatic about the voice actor strike.
Oh, you were like looking at your screen.
Yeah. Oh no!
No.
What if all of the games become Nintendo games and there are no more voiceovers?
Lamentation.
This is from Mike Futter over on Game Informer. A long-running conversation between publishers and voice actors over contract terms may be coming to a head. SAG-AFTRA, the union representing actors, is currently considering a strike to push the matter to resolution. Chief among the issues under discussion is the matter of back-end bonuses. These are a trade-off with lower fees for service, but a percentage of the gross. This is becoming more common in film, and now many may become a piece of the gaming landscape. According to the FAQ found on their website, the proposal suggests that residual payments not kick in until the game sells 2 million units. The union says that would protect smaller game developers while allowing actors to earn a piece of what is labeled as blockbusters. We are asking for a reasonable performance bonus for every 2 million copies or downloads sold, or 2 million unique subscribers to online-only games with a cap of 8 million units /subscribers. That shakes out potentially to 4 bonus payments for the most successful games: 2 million, 4 million, 6 million, 8 million. Additionally, they are looking for stunt pay for those actors put in vocally stressful situations, which sounds kind of funny to me. With the increase in motion capture performance, the union wants to have stunt coordinators available. Because a lot of stuff is mocap.
Oh, I guess that's true, yeah.
Like The Last of Us was blocked out, and they acted out their scenes as they voice acted them as well. So, according to the union, that is a lot of... okay. The employers have proposed fines for late arrivals on set and fines for agents that don't send actors out for smaller roles. They also object to publishers potentially hiring their own employees for voice work without requiring those individuals join the union. And so just a whole big rigmarole around voice actors, but it's mainly around the way that they are compensated. They are paid a straight-up fee for their services, and then they don't see any kind of reward base for if the game does well. So what are you guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, that's capitalism to a degree. You agree to do something, and you do it for whatever you're getting paid for. You're not really going to see the profits from it, or maybe like a commission based off the profits. You're not a car salesman.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the same time, though, you want I don't know.
Go ahead.
It sounds fair to me. What they're asking for sounds fair to me. We're going to have lower fees up front, and then if the game does really well, we get a cut of it.
So I guess on the one hand, it really is good for smaller studios to be able to afford the services of these people. So I guess I could see that.
And at the same time, though, you're also almost digging yourself a hole, because I feel like although some games do very, very do very, very well, many, I'm sure, like records and films, things like that, barely break even, or at least get everyone paid, and then your studio dissolves or something like that, or it moves on to the next project. So I don't know.
Now, I'm not really aware of how it works in the movie industry, but 2 million games sold for a game that took X amount of dollars is more profit. It may be more profit than 2 million copies sold for a game that took Y amount of dollars to develop and sell. So, how is that scale determined? This sounds like it's really super locked in, but if a game has to sell X amount and that's less than the Y amount the other game has to sell in order to break even, it doesn't seem fair.
I'm sure it just depends on your production costs and all of that. I mean, it all boils down to sales, and of course, some of your AAA titles are going to do way, way better, but it's you have the potential to make more money or less money. I'm sorry, essentially, it seems to me that way. But I'm just a lowly
typist
dude.
The part that I struggle with within this is their direct one-to-one comparison with film actors on this. There are movies that are made because of the actor that chooses to play the lead role. And if they were not going to have that actor play that role, then the film would not be funded and it would not be made. So I struggle with this because there are very few video games I can think of where I'm like, I bought that because Troy Baker does the voice. But I will go see X film because it has this actor in it, and I really like that actor. And I may not be all about the concept for the film, but the actor I really enjoy.
They may not get up to that level where you buy the game for the sake of the voice, but I think some of them do get to the level where you wouldn't buy the game if the actor was removed. Like, imagine the uproar if Master Chief's voice was changed.
Yeah.
I kind of like the David Hayter and Kiefer Sutherland thing with Snake and Metal Gear 5, both Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain. David Hayter played Snake since Metal Gear Solid in the 90s. What was that, maybe 97, 99, something like that? Well, I mean, a good, 15 years. And, that's been his voice. And then for the last game, probably, the last canonical game, at least, in the franchise from Hideo Kojima, he changed the guy's voice.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Empty Vial says 97, I think.
Right.
And then Mad Brock says other shows talked like the work conditions were a big part as well. And across the industry, it is a known fact that working in video games is not cushy. It's not
sleeping at your desk.
Right. So there are, especially if you're working for games that are being backed by big time publishers, there are long nights and strict deadlines that you've got to meet, strict quality control stuff, Q&A that has to be met. And then when your job is done, see ya. Got to go find somewhere else. We'll bring in programmers. They'll work for a couple years maybe on the game, and then as soon as it's done, we don't help them find anywhere else. They're just out on.
You're almost like a migrant worker,
yeah.
pretty much.
And so this is what unions are about. This goes back to your comment about this is capitalism. The union exists to try to get what is best for the members of the union. And what this, I think, is going to cause is a domino effect among the gaming industry, where developers start looking and saying, well, a game like made by Naughty Dog, let's say. The developers at Naughty Dog are people that we trust. We will buy a game that has the Naughty Dog label on it because we trust those developers. Much like we would go see X movie because it's got this actor in it.
Mm-hmm.
The developers and programmers need to be able to get together and be like, we want performance. We want back-end rewards on these things, that if it sells X amount of copies, we get said percentage of the sales off of it as well.
I mean, everyone can try to make a cash grab like that. It's just there comes a time when it's, I don't know. I mean, it's counterproductive almost. But anyway, were we talking about going to this?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Empty Vial says, so here's the question, Seth and crew. I'm Seth. Nice to meet you. Should a voice actor who is iconic to the role have a say if the character/story should continue? 15 years is a long time. Kiefer came in, back to that Metal Gear Snake discussion. He's very distinct and sounds nothing like old Solid Snake. I agree. Makes me wonder if they should stop churning out the games and or the character. That's a tough question because, again, some characters, I mean, are some of our most loved characters, especially in digital media, where you can kind of you don't have to worry about the aging process so much unless it's part of the story, like with the Solid Snake line. It's not like waiting. Hugh Jackman's getting too old to play Wolverine or something like that. So to a degree, we almost have to change actors. If things go on for this long. I mean,
can I jump in?
Yeah,
for a second,
please.
Because no.
Okay.
That's my answer to it. Is Konami owns that IP, and they should not have to yield to the wishes of an actor who voices just one of the characters in that IP.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It's tough because I know that this is a huge thing in the Metal Gear fan community. Because why? It's one of those things I don't know if it was ever really explained too well. Why would you change from David Hayter to Kiefer Sutherland? I know it was in the news at some point.
Well, it would almost be like, let's say you decided, okay, I don't want to be a part of Player 3 podcast anymore, so I'm going to step away from it. And then you're like,
How did you know?
Since I was a part of it, you guys can't do it anymore.
Right. I agree that should be no. I mean, down to brass tacks, the actor is an employee, and you have a relationship with your employer. Your employer can terminate that at any time. for almost any reason. But I mean, you know, and each project is different than the last.
I want to jump in on this
Jump
from
in.
a kind of different perspective. I recognize that I'm kind of a weird guy in this regard, but I like stories that eventually have some finality and some closure,
Mhm.
and I really don't like how long we'll drag one character out.
Mhm.
Like, I know they're going to do it with Master Chief as long as they can, but
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see the day where Master Chief dies in a heroic way or
Mhm.
dies safe. and
Maybe we'll
in his
see
bed
that.
at
Maybe
night.
we'll see that in October 2015.
Yeah. Or he like dies of old age. Just all right. I fought
Or
this
maybe
war and I
maybe
brought
he like
peace
finds
time.
his way into another dimension somehow, and like kind of like who was it? Captain Kirk in Star Trek. He like ends up living for.
No, stop extending it. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Like,
no, not that you see him, but like you don't like that's the thing. You don't see him, and he's been trapped in this like not trapped, but like he exists in another plane, but he's out of our realm. So
He's
we-
driving
like,
his warthog around. And he puts his coffee on the dash.
It's almost like he's in Valhalla somewhere with his coffee on the dash. Empty Vial says, I just feel like Konami should make another game and or tell the story from another perspective and another character and not have Snake if they're going to get rid of that. I think that's a potential.
and if you've built a universe around this character that's good and believable and it can sustain itself, you should do that. But I really don't like how we won't let go of characters.
I agree. Now, the interesting thing, and I was reading an article about this actually, I think last night or the night before, the great thing about the Phantom Pain is that it's an end to the franchise, but chronologically it takes place right in the middle of the story that spans from the 60s all the way. I think Metal Gear Solid 4 takes place in 2014, and it came out in like 2007, 8, something like that on the PS3. So, I mean, this game takes place forever, and some people complain because Metal Gear 5 doesn't really have much of a sense of finality to it, but it's not. It's like it's literally smack dab in the middle of the story, you know, between the 60s, the 80s. Like I think this is an 89 in the game universe, and then it goes into 2014. So you're right there, like you were in the heart of the story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I-
Cool place to end.
I think with Metal Gear, like I think our thinking can be clouded too because it's Konami.
Yeah,
and you know we've got a lot of expectations. But you know, back to your character idea, and this is more of an anomaly than the rule. But think about like Doctor Who, something that's been going on for. Well, I mean, it took a break, but it went on for a long time back in the day, and now it's going on strong now. And they've built into the story a way that the character can continue and be made fresh. And I think we need to like be able to afford that to video games as well. That like they should be able to carry a character as long as the market tells them that their character is relevant. And for people like you that may get tired of something, if they're still churning out Metal Gear games 5 years from now, it's because they're still selling. And obviously somebody still cares. Like and so but as far as the voice actor goes, I don't think it shouldn't be tied to that. That shouldn't matter.
Yeah, they're still making 007 movies, but that Sean Connery guy hasn't been in one for a while.
Sean Connery. I don't know if I've ever heard of him.
I mean,
He hates Alex
each
Trebek.
scenario is different. And really, I mean, I think that there's a lot of dignity in actually ending something for good. But of course, money talks. That's the bottom line. I'm getting it too. Maybe that's the dog poop smell I'm smelling.
You shouldn't be smelling dog poop.
Did you run this microphone through dog poop?
Yeah, you got me. Barry brought me, man.
Barry brought me, man.
Barry brought me. All right, next time.